All right, guys. Now that we're done talking about the courthouse and some of the fine deals you can get from there, I'm going to go over something else that's probably a number three on the time to money scale. So this takes a well. I've probably put two. Uh, Bandit signs is an actual really effective way to find real estate deals. Now, me personally, I have not. When I first heard about bandit signs, I'm like that, it seems very shady. It seems very like we buy houses. I've seen them all over the place. But what really surprised me is how well they actually work. These sites I've made thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars off of these stupid, crappy, cheap signs. So there's a lot of there are a lot of benefits of using the bandit signs, and they, one, because they actually work, and once you put it out there, they're out there, you know. So what bandit signs are, for those that aren't too familiar, we got a picture of one right there. You may have seen like we buy houses fast cash, we buy houses as is. You know, you may have seen some different ones, whether and as far as like money wise, you can go to almost any website, and they can print, not only the website, any printing website, and they can print off multiple, you know, signs with your phone number on it, with any message you want to put on it, relatively cheap. You know, on average, you're spending about 75 cents per sign. So when you buy in bulk, it's actually pretty cheap. You know, I would buy a couple hundred at a time. You know, spend a couple $100 on the signs and also the poles. So it's actually relatively inexpensive when you're comparing to other lead funnels. But the time, it does take a lot of time to get to place the signs, and put them out there where people can see them consistently. So with signs, they work, just like I was saying before. And you want to check with your local cities. They may not be a big fan of the signs. There's some cities, for example, here in Utah, there's a city that I'm actually currently in right now, and it is against the city ordinance to put up any of these type of signs. You can get fined if they catch you putting the signs up. So one recommendation for your own privacy, I would make sure to get the phone number you put down. Make sure to get like a Google number. You can actually get your own phone number just by going to Google, and it's Google like how do I get, just Google how to get my Google number, and then it'll give you step-by-step instructions. It's really easy. You can get one Google number for free. So that's a very inexpensive way to get a number where it's virtually untraceable, and you're not going to get, and it's a way you can turn that off where you're not getting phone calls in the middle of the night, because sometimes people will call you, you know, in the middle of the night through off these signs. So just be aware of that. So a Google number is a great way to do it, and also protect your identity, and also so you can kind of separate the business line to your personal line is highly recommended. And how to use that Google number throughout the entire course as you're finding leads. You know, that's a great way to do it. Also, I mean, if you're in an area, so for example, the city I'm currently sitting in right now, Layton, if I get fined, it may be the way that I think of it. It's just a cost of business. You know, if they fine me $500 because I put a sign out there, okay. But if I'm making money off that sign, all right, I'll take it down. But when you leave, I'll probably put it back up again. And if they find me again, then it's basically the advertising, the price that I pay for the advertising. That's how I personally see it. I'm not recommending anyone to do anything against the law, but that's just my vision. I'm not saying anyone to do that either, but you do what you want to do. But find out for sure what the city likes and doesn't like about the signs. Another way to do it. So I'll tell you what. If let's just say you're in a city where they hate these signs. They're not a fan of them. One way to get around that is to, on Friday night, go out, put out the signs, and on Sunday evening, go out, take them all down. Because the guys that are going to go out there that are going to be actually doing stuff, they're Monday through Friday. I mean, so you can put it on the weekend where most people are out. They're seeing the signs. They're gonna, you know, you're gonna get some traffic into some phone calls, and so it does take more time to put them out and take them back out, and every weekend do that. But you're looking at a couple hours a weekend to get your name out there, to get your phone number out there, to be available for people that need to sell their home fast. And again, you'd be surprised how often it works. Now, it typically takes, when I put out signs, it takes a couple of weeks at least to get numbers for people to start calling me. At first, I thought that was odd. Like, why does it take a couple of weeks for people to call me when it's been out there for so long? On average, for people to take, and this is true for ads on online or whatever, we're so inundated with so much information. It usually takes people 7 times or more to see a particular ad or sign to actually take any action. So someone might be going through foreclosure, and they see that sign. The first thing they thought, like, oh, this is a scam. They're just going to take my money away. I don't want it, you know. Then the second time they see it, like, that's a stupid sign again. Third time they're seeing it, like, that's still out there. Okay, all right. And they start getting a little curious about it. And it's like, I wonder what they can do. And then they get intrigued, and then it turns into curiosity. And to like, you know, I want to see what this guy will do, what this guy or gal can do for me. Will they actually be able to buy my cash? Like I need to buy my cash. I need to sell my home. I need to sell it quickly. So I want to see what they can do to help me. So that's a great way to do that. It's a great way to you're gonna leave them out there for several weeks, and you want to put them in place in high traffic. You know, so don't put it in people's yards. That's something that's just kind of it's frankly a dick move. So I don't put it in people's yards. I try to put it in corners, in places kind of like where you see this picture. It's kind of government property. It's in the middle of the street. Multiple people see it. I try to put it in stop signs, stop lights. I try to put in yards and places where it's either like public use or like maybe a business, like a gas station. Gas station is a great place to put them. And they usually have their own Bandit signs there anyway, so it kind of blends right in. And so I've actually put in places where the people would cut the yard, and the company that they pay to the company the business pays to cut their lawn, they would actually take out my sign, cut the lawn, and put my sign back. You know, because they're not necessarily, you know, they're not. So it's pretty nice that way. But put it in high traffic areas. You want more eyes on as possible, right? And put in areas where you're going to pass often. These signs are going to be pulled off quite frequently, okay? And just be aware of that, and that's fine. I got to a point where I put a bunch in my trunk at all times. And so as I was driving through my normal routines, as I'm driving around for dollars, I'm doing all sorts of things. If I see one of my signs have been pulled off, you know, I'll put them up real fast, or I'll replace it if someone yanked it. You know, it's important to have those signs out there and have them out there consistently in a place. If someone, you know, spray paints it, vandalizes it, whatever, I can get that replaced pretty quickly. Again, you want consistency for people to take action on. They're going to see it and it's going to be weeks before you get phone calls. But if you have and if you just put one sign out there and you just do 1 or 5, you're not going to get a lot of traffic to that phone number. You're just not going to happen. You want to put, you know, 20 to 30. If you can do hundreds, then do hundreds. You know what I mean? And just realize that a lot of those signs are going to be destroyed, be pulled off. I literally had someone go through and I put up a whole bunch of signs, and then one citizen decided like, oh, he didn't like my signs, and he himself literally grabbed and pulled them all. And I through other channels I actually found out who it was, and was like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you pulling my signs? You know, he was just being a jerk. But that may happen, and you're gonna have to be okay with that. It's part of the business, right? It's gonna happen. So that's why I like to put my signs in the town where I'm in mostly, right? And I'll put in other towns that I focus on. But I like to put in places where I drive a lot, so I can fix the signs as they come down or whatnot. Be safe. You know, you're putting signs out in high traffic areas. That means there's cars out there. You know, so don't go alone, and don't. I personally like to go at night. That's my personal choice. You know, obviously you don't want to go in areas where it's out in the hood and in the middle of the night. That's probably not very smart for you. So make sure you know your area the most that you're targeting, because you want to target your area that you want to work in. And so you know areas the most. So be safe, be considerate, and don't go by yourself, you know, when you're doing this. Even if someone's just sitting in the car, you know, and then not saying it's dangerous, but there's traffic, you know, you don't want to get ran over or whatever. So just be aware of your surroundings. I personally go at night. I usually go like 5 o'clock in the morning or early morning. You know, wake up early. There's not a lot of traffic. You know, I mean, so and nor is anyone to yell at me like, why are you putting signs out there? You know what I mean? I can just in and out, get it done quickly, and put the signs out. And you just put a goal like I'm going to put every morning, put out 10 signs, or I'm going to do once a week, and I'm going to be out there a couple hours. I'm going to put out a bunch of signs out there. So it's a great way to do it. Bandit signs, they're an actual realistic way to put out deals, you know. And and as I said before, it'll take a few weeks before you get a couple calls. I mean, so just got to be stick with it. A lot of these funnels I'm teaching you, it's not going to work. You're not going to get your first deal on the first sign. I mean, that's not going to happen. You have to be realistic. You have to understand this stuff takes time and consistency for people to take you serious. So you got to kind of understand that that's kind of how that works, how it's going to be. So that's going to be for one module for the Bandit science. This one is a very short and simple, but in reality, it's a very easy one to do. So there's that for you guys.